Reasons Why Season 2, or more specifically the 13 Reasons Why Season 2 finale, but I guess we'll kind of go into both. So, guys, 13 Reasons Why Season 2 dropped on Netflix a couple weeks ago. I binged it the entire first week and it came out, but one of my buddies has been going through and watching it, and I've watched a few episodes with him and gotten to really, like, kind of sit on the season, think about it more, kind of marinate over what I actually thought about it and stuff, and now I wanted to get my thoughts on it out to you guys, because 13 Reasons Why Season 2 is controversial the same way Season 1 was controversial, the same way Season 3 will probably be controversial, and I just kind of want to weigh my stake and let you know what I thought about it. If you remember 13 Reasons Why Season 1, I thought it was pretty good. The first, like, 4 or 5 episodes I thought were amazing, and then it got a little bit sloppy, kind of fell apart towards the end of it, but, like, overall, solid season, really enjoyed it, good character work, really kind of interesting narrative, and very fascinating and important story that needed to be told. Season 2, on the other hand, I'll do my non-spoiler part right now. Season 2, I thought was messy. I thought it had a lot of filler. I thought it wasn't necessarily all that focused. I thought that the end of Season 1 kind of trickled over into all of Season 2, and that it didn't really feel like it was going anywhere, and didn't really feel like it had as many stakes. It didn't really feel like it had all that much excitement to it. It just felt dull and boring for the most part, and that's just my take on it. It was problematic in other ways that I'm going to get into now, but for me to do that, I do have to go into spoilers, and I apologize for that, guys, because usually when I review something first, it's not containing spoilers, but in this case, you can go and watch 13 Reasons Why Seasons 1 and 2 on Netflix right now if you choose to. I don't really recommend Season 2, although if you did like Season 1, you might find some enjoyment in Season 2, and I'll tell you this, I am excited for Season 3 based on how Season 2 left it off, so I guess you have to watch Season 2 if you want to watch Season 3, and, you know, it's kind of hard. Spoilers. Alright, Season 2 of 13 Reasons Why I found problematic for several reasons. The first thing, the filler that I mentioned off the top, I thought it was abysmal. For example, Justin Foley's character, you're like, alright, he left town at the end of Season 1, nobody's been able to turn him up, we need to get him back now to testify, though. So we go to this, like, random, like, you know, beaten down place, and we find him and everything, and oh, what's he been up to? He's addicted to heroin? What? And I thought that, and I'm like, alright, this just means that they couldn't find a story to write for Justin Foley. Because here's the thing, if you've been to high school, maybe heroin was an epidemic in your high school or something like that, or maybe it was an epidemic in your community or something like that, but I'm in college right now, and everybody I've talked to in my social circles, nobody's told me, hey, you know what a major issue in my high school is? Heroin. There's even a scene, you guys know what I'm talking about, where he literally goes back to school and he's trying to get clean and everything, and then he turns to the connection, and the connection's like, hey man, you want to buy some H? And I'm like, are you joking? This feels like... this doesn't, I don't buy this. I don't buy this at all. I do think that Season 2 did a few things quite well, though. For example, the Jessica story I thought was very good, seeing her go through the PTSD of realizing what had happened to her and everything. I think that at a few points it felt like it dragged on a little bit, because, like, alright, we understand what Jessica's character is going through. We understand she's in this terrible place. We've seen it really affect us and everything. But at a few points, there's a few too many scenes involving her, I feel like, and I understand it's, like, a long coping process and everything, but I just wish they could have devoted that to other, like, more developed stories. Because Jessica, again, I thought was solid, but the fact they devoted so much time to her kind of took away from some other characters. The other two characters I think they actually did quite good work with was Alex and Mr. Porter? Yeah, Porter. I was going to say Mr. Potter. That's not right. Alex, first of all, I thought he was a whiny brat in Season 1. I didn't really like him all that much. I thought he was kind of emo, and I didn't really dig him. But seeing him cope with what he went through also, and see him deal with the fact that he doesn't have any memory of what happened to him when he shot himself at the end of Season 1, that's really horrific. Seeing him kind of rehabilitate and kind of understand where he is now and kind of try to fit in again, it really was just a different type of story that I thought was powerful in some ways and very traumatizing in other ways. And seeing his friendship with Zach develop was nice. It was quite cute, I gotta say. Mr. Porter, I also thought they completely redeemed him because he was a jerk in Season 1. I thought that over the course of this season, though, they really did some cool stuff, like seeing him fight Meth Seth, Justin's, like, kind of pseudo-stepdad and everything, and seeing him just, like, stand out for these kids and testify against the school, even though he was supposed to be supporting the school and everything, and see him leave his job. That was just, it was good stuff. I felt like he really understood what he did wrong, because in the book and in Season 1, you just feel like he's kind of this, like, schlubby guy who doesn't really care what he does. He's just there to get paid, and he hates his life and everything. But in this, like, no, he actually cares about these kids, and he understands that he did something wrong, and he needs to make up for that. He needs to redeem himself, and I feel like he did redeem himself, to be honest. One more character I really liked in the season was Zach Dempsey. But here's the thing. The major issue I have with the season, well, actually, there's two major issues that I'll get to in a second, but the first major issue I have with the season is that it feels completely inconsistent with Season 1. I think they retconned so many things from Season 1 of 13 Reasons Why that it made no sense. Like, if you had never seen Season 1 and you go in to watch Season 2, you'll probably like Season 2, but Season 2 feel like it was completely different than what season 1 was setting up for it to be. The biggest example I have of that is the Zach Dempsey episode. I think it's episode 6 of season 2. It's the one where you find out him and Hannah had this long relationship, like all summer long before Hannah killed herself during the fall. Over that summer, her and Zach were together the entire time. They dated, they went out, he went to the movies where she worked and everything. It was just this beautiful love story, and I'm like watching it, and I'm like, this is so cute, this is adorable, they're bonding, they're falling for each other and everything. And then I'm like, wait a second, but this doesn't make any sense, because on his tape, she just mentioned like something about a note that he read one time, or somebody read one time involving that. It seemed like it was just a glossed over like detail. This is huge. Like, why wasn't this mentioned at all? And it's kind of like explaining, oh, maybe like she wanted to keep it just between them, like he wanted it to and everything. But like literally, when she's spelling out so much stuff on those tapes, like why didn't this come up even once? And things just they don't add up and everything. I also I thought it was weird going in. I'll save my second major issue for the very end because it kind of happened towards the end of the season. Another issue I had with the season though is that Clay, after that Zach Dempsey storyline, Clay felt like the most useless character ever because his entire storyline in the show is like, oh man, I loved Hannah, like she was the love of my life and everything. We worked together, we kissed once, we were both on ecstasy, but I totally loved her. And then you're like, all right, cool. But then he's like hallucinating with Hannah, right? And he sees Hannah, but Hannah's talking to him the way that Hannah talks. The thing I loved about Bates Motel is that when Norman Bates in the last season would hallucinate with Norma, even though she was dead, Norma talked the way Norman imagined her talking. Like, you can understand that she's a figment of his imagination. When Hannah showed up to talk to Clay, you didn't feel like it was Clay's hallucination of Hannah. You felt like it was just Hannah being there. It didn't feel like it was a figment of anybody's imagination. It just felt like it was that character, which I felt like made Clay more kind of a, I don't know, like hallucinating schizophrenic type of character. It just completely undid his character. And again, seeing that Zach actually had the relationship with her, I felt like that should have been the focus of the show from page 1. But again, it shows that going into season 2, the writers just had no clue what they were going to do at all. So they need to write something in for Zach, and they're like, oh man, it was too late to make him the main character in season 1. So what do we do? I will tell you guys this, though. The major issue I had with this entire season, I knew it was going to be a problem from episode 1 of the season. I even knew it was going to be an issue from the end of last season, is the way they handled Tyler. Because episode 1 of the season was basically like the Tyler redemption story. He's like, no, I took pictures that she liked and everything. It's like she liked being photographed in these ones and everything. And then you see Tyler like make friends, and I'm like, oh, this girl's kind of into him and everything. And I'm like, no, this is not working. This is because at the end of season 1, you see that he has all these assault rifles and a handgun store and everything. And in my mind, I'm like, yup, he's the sketchy kid that everybody bullies. He's gonna be like a school shooter type. You know what's gonna happen. You're just waiting for it to happen. And then in season 2, when they're trying to redeem him as a character the same way they redeemed Alex and the same way they redeem Mr. Porter and everything, I'm like, please don't redeem Tyler. Please don't redeem Tyler. Please don't redeem Tyler. And they try to redeem Tyler. And at the end, they show him that horrible scene in the bathroom where he's bullied and then he's just beaten down and he's completely violated and everything. And in my mind, I'm like, oh man, this is a terrible situation, but I know that he's still a bad person because after that, he gets all the guns and he's going to go shoot up the school. And I don't think it's... I just felt very uncomfortable as a viewer trying to get... The show tried to get me to sympathize with a school shooter type, and I don't feel comfortable with that, because you look at a movie like Patriots Day, right? They have the two brothers that were the bombers at the Boston Marathon be pretty, like, you know, down-to-earth guys who just kind of go about their everyday life, but they don't make them redeemable or likable characters. You see them as like these normal guys and stuff, but you don't see them as being likable. The movie doesn't make you root for them. In this season, the show tries to make you sympathize with Tyler, which I had a big issue with, because again, he was literally going to go in and probably kill dozens of people at that school dance. And again, when it happens, I'm like, please. And I know Clay stops him and he's like, no, you're no better than them if you go in there. And he gets stopped and everything, and then Tony drives him away and stuff. But still, that made me go like, no, because he was going to do it. If Clay wasn't there to stop him, he was going to do it, and that doesn't make up for it. So I just felt really uncomfortable watching the entire season, knowing that that was a main focal point of it. And again, I thought that so much of it just dragged on. So much of it was irrelevant. What was the name of Clay's girlfriend in the first 3 episodes? Like Sky or something like that? Completely irrelevant. She was there for the first 3 episodes. She showed up in like the middle again, and she was saying things like, oh man, how dare you miss the dead girl that you worked with and that you were friends with and everything. It's like, really? Because, I mean, I feel like if I had a girlfriend who knew that I had undergone such a loss, she would be pretty sympathetic to me. I'm like, you're just, I don't know, worst girlfriend of the year award right there for Sky, or again, whatever her name was at the beginning, and she just disappeared, and I'm like, why did that have to happen? And then the whole clubhouse storyline I actually kind of enjoyed, but I just felt like it was going like so much in circles where I'm like, did you guys not check to like look at the school map and see, oh, the place called the clubhouse is where the actual clubhouse is? It just made no sense whatsoever. So again, guys, 13 Reasons Why Season 2, I didn't really dig it all that much. I thought it was boring. I thought it was repetitious. I thought it retconned a lot of what Season 1 did. And above all, it just made me feel really uncomfortable the way that they handled the character of Tyler. I just walked out, or left that season feeling like, no, this isn't good at all. But again, the reason why I'm very excited for Season 3 is because I do think that they are going to make it like Tyler's the villain. They're like going to either track down or prosecute a Tyler or something like that. And hopefully they get to the bottom of like Montgomery being a terrible person too, and maybe he gets some kind of repercussions. But for now, I just left Season 2 feeling like kind of icky and unsettled. And I know a lot of people say that like the best media is that which unsettles us and makes us question our own reality and everything. But this just made me question why we even needed Season 2, since it felt like it was just kind of irrelevant, to be honest. But guys, those are just my thoughts on 13 Reasons Why Season 2. Again, it had its upsides. It had a lot of downsides to me. It wasn't a terrible season of television. It just felt like it wasn't something that I'm going to go back and rewatch all that often. Nor do I feel like it's something that people would really get all that merit out of watching. So again, let me know what you guys thought of that in the comment section down below. You guys can also go over to mymoviethoughts.com, follow me on Twitter at John Macon, subscribe to this YouTube channel for tons of more posts. Links to all three of those are in the description down below. You guys can also like this video, comment on it, share it with some friends. I'm John Hayeck, and so thank you guys so much for watching.